It's Beardo Bloggins here, and in today's video we're just going to talking about autistic people and how they struggle with metaphors. This, the short answer is the reason they struggle with metaphors is because they take language very literally, um, and metaphors and I guess similes are similar. So yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. You kind of have to use languages in a bit of an abstract way. So if you were to say, life is a roller coaster ride, an autistic person is going to break that down into, life being like a roller coaster ride, but there's no roller coaster ride involved, unless you're physically on a roller coaster, and I suppose there is. But a neurotypical person might think sort of a bit more abstract in the fact that life has its ups and downs. You have good days and bad days, and your emotions, they go up and down and things like that. So it's about the literal language that you use and the words that you would use when talking with autistic people, because they take each word as it is, and will go by its literal meaning. So if you were to say it's raining cats and dogs, as to mean it's raining really hard, an autistic person is going to look outside and see no cats or no dogs, and they go, where are the cats and the dogs? Why have you mentioned cats and dogs if that's not what you're talking about? And similes is kind of similar, because if you're comparing one thing to another, so if you're saying your bag is as light as a feather, the bag is not, it's obviously not as light as a feather. The bag is probably heavier than the feather, or likely to be heavier than the feather. So that's kind of it, really, in a short way. Because autistic people take everything so literally, they take the words at face value, and so what you say to them, they kind of process it as you've said what you've said, and that's what you mean. And on the flip side, I guess, when an autistic person says something, they're not thinking about alternative meanings to words. They're not thinking, they're not, they don't think about alternative abstract meanings to words. They say words because that's the, they pick them because that's what they want to say, basically. And yeah, I get that's, I think, about as simple as I can get it, really. Yeah. There's plenty of documentations on it and studies and stuff like that, so I can link a couple in the video as I post this. They can probably explain it a bit better than I can. But yeah, that's, I guess, about as simple as an explanation as I can give, really. Yeah. And just as a secondary thought that I had, just as I was about to wrap this video up, it's not that we will never learn to understand metaphors. We can sort of learn to understand them as we pick them up, and as people use them. We kind of learn through repetition what they mean. So yeah, there's that. But it's a case of learning by repetition rather than innately learning what each metaphor means, basically. So yeah, just if you use metaphors, just be wary that particularly around autistic people, they're going to process each word as it comes. So some probably just need a quick explanation, or you can like I say, they'll learn through repetition, basically. So it's not a case of they never learn how to use them. Like, for example, I was 13 when I was diagnosed, and I'm now in my 30s. So obviously, as I've developed, and I've developed my own, vocabulary, and I've learnt to understand language, I've learnt to understand metaphors. So sometimes it's just a case of explaining it at the time that you use it, and sometimes it's maybe repeating it every once in a while. But yeah, so it's the initial struggle rather than a constant struggle for people to learn, for autistic people. When it comes to metaphors, it's a case of it's just how autistic people process language rather than anything else in particular. Words are very literal in their brains. They mean what they mean, and they are very unambiguous. Yeah. So anyway, so there's no ambiguity or sort of nuance isn't the right word. What's the word I'm trying to think of? I'll think of it later. Maybe that's a note for editor self to put that in. But yeah, it's basically, they are, we're very unambiguous when it comes to language, and that's just how we process it, basically. Yeah, that's it, really. So see you in the next one. Bye bye.